Today's video is going to be about why we experience limerence and how you can actually use it to help yourself heal and evolve. There's a lot of videos out there about how to get rid of limerence and how it's bad and unhealthy. And yes, limerence is not ideal because it's not grounded in reality, but I really believe that every feeling that we have, every emotion that we have is there for a reason, and there's wisdom that we can get from it. And when we try to resist whatever we're feeling, it creates suffering. When we want to get rid of how we're feeling, it creates suffering and it causes issues in our lives. But when you can lean into whatever emotions you're feeling and accept them and learn the lesson that they're trying to teach you, it's going to naturally dissipate after that. And so I do think there's a purpose behind limerence, behind infatuation, behind obsession, and over-identifying with certain people or really thinking about people a lot. I think that they're a reflection of you, and there's something in there for you to integrate within yourself, some part of you that you don't accept, some part of you that you don't look at, or a part of you that you want to embody more. So yeah, I'm going to talk about in this video how you can do that and what this feeling is trying to teach you and how you can gain something from it. We experience ourselves through other people. It's very hard for us to comprehend ourselves without it being in relation to others. And so it's okay to feel really connected to other people. Sometimes I'm afraid to lose myself in other people or to confuse myself with other people almost, because I have this history of codependency. But this really is how we experience ourselves. We experience ourselves through the relationships that we have, and the relationships that you have at that current time are going to be a reflection of you. And so it's okay to kind of see yourself within those relationships and identify with them. I think that the people that we're romantically drawn to are such a reflection of us, a reflection of our belief systems, what we believe we're deserving of, what we believe about the world, about men, about women, and also maybe traits that we're looking for because we need them in order to feel safe, or what we need from another person in order to feel safe. I also do think there's times where the universe will give us more than we feel deserving of, because it's time for you to step into that version of yourself before you even have become that within yourself. But a lot of times the people in our lives are a reflection of our belief systems and our self-talk. Also, the way that we perceive people is not even necessarily who they are, how they are. It's a reflection of the way that we perceive things and the way that we view the world, the way that we view ourselves. And so you can learn a lot about the way that you perceive people, because you're not necessarily seeing people actually as they are. You're seeing people the way that you're meant to see them in order to grow spiritually. So I think it's so helpful to observe, how do I perceive people? What do I notice in them? What traits do I think they have? And sometimes when we're obsessed with a certain person, it's because we over-identify with that part of ourselves that they represent. Because we're all so multifaceted, we all have so many sides to us. I feel like a lot of times I come off as this very spiritual, serious person, but I know there's also this side to me that is really funny and playful. And at different times I'll over-identify with different parts of myself, or the human part of myself that makes mistakes, that has an ego that's very flawed. And then we all have this spiritual, divine part of ourselves as well. And it's important to find the balance between all of these, because we're always going to be oscillating between all of these different parts of ourselves. But the human experience is really about experiencing ourselves through other people. And so other people are going to reflect all these different parts of yourself so that you can accept them and love them and integrate them in a healthy way. If you're wanting to transmute your other emotions into healing and wisdom as well, and develop a healthier, loving relationship with yourself, I highly recommend checking out this Processing Emotions workbook. This workbook aims to help you feel safe and secure while facing your difficult emotions, which is going to help heal your trauma responses and unhealthy coping mechanisms. When we resist our emotions, they get stuck in our bodies and can contribute to mental and physical illness. Emotions can be a source of creativity and immense power when we know how to address them in a healthy way. You can find it on Amazon, or you can get the $5 ebook on my website. So sometimes we over-identify with one part of ourselves, and so we will become obsessed with certain people. because that's the part of ourselves that we accept and that we want to embody, because we think that that's the part of ourselves that we have to be in order to be safe in the world or to be accepted or whatever it is. So we find someone who's similar to that, and then we identify with that and we share this belief system that they have. If you feel like there's one person in this world who actually understands you, who is similar to you, who gets you, it might just be because you are rejecting all these other parts of yourself that are represented by the other people in your life, and you don't accept these parts of yourself. And I'm not saying that you have to embody these parts of yourself, but I think it's important to just accept that these things exist in our head and they're a part of us in order to heal. Also, a lot of times with limerence, we want approval, we want validation, and you're fantasizing about getting someone's approval, getting someone's love, getting someone's affection and validation. And so if that's the case, then you need to look at what is it that you want from them? What are the parts of yourself that you want to be accepted by them? Like, really just look at the thoughts that you're having and be like, what is it that I'm dreaming about, fantasizing about, and what is it that I'm craving? And find a way to give that to yourself, find a way to validate and love yourself and give that to those parts of yourself. I think that's usually the cause of limerence, is that we're craving approval and validation because we don't validate ourselves, we don't validate our own emotions, we don't accept the bad parts of ourselves, we don't feel worthy of love. That's probably the main cause of limerence. But then if you're at a place where you are meeting all of your needs, you're validating yourself, you love yourself, you might still have obsessions with certain people because it's helping you integrate a certain part of yourself and face it and accept it. Because there's all these parts of ourselves that we don't always acknowledge, we don't always accept. And I feel like as we evolve, we're meant to just accept more and more of them and acknowledge them. Like a few weeks ago, I was talking to this guy and I, for some reason, was just really drawn to him and had feelings for him, even though I barely knew him. And so I was like, what does he represent to me? What do I see in him? What am I noticing in him? Because that's going to be a reflection of me. And I feel like he was very much in his ego, in a certain part of his ego that was something that I didn't accept about myself, or something that I judged in others a lot of times, and kind of told myself, like, I'm not even like this. But through this experience, it helped me to accept that part of myself and to acknowledge that it's within me. And just because that part exists, it doesn't cancel out the other stuff. And it's okay to accept that this is a part of me and it's a part of most people. I was able to accept that part of myself within myself and within others, and not judge people for this trait and think it's a bad thing and label it negatively, and reject myself for feeling that way sometimes, or looking down on people who really embody that. But I also decided, this isn't my priority, this isn't who I want to be an embodiment of all the time. Like, this is just a part of me that I accept, but it's not the part of me that I want to live life in or have relationships with people who are this way, if that makes sense. So after I was able to learn that lesson and integrate that part of myself and accept it, I stopped having feelings for this person. I think that sometimes we have this tendency to want to get rid of the feelings and the experiences that we don't like, but I think that spirituality is really about accepting all of the different feelings that you're experiencing and realizing that they're all teachers, they're all guides, and you can gain so much from each experience when you lean into it and allow yourself to feel it. And we're really just here to experience, and it's cool to experience all these different emotions. I know that we think some are good and some are bad, but really they're not. If you're able to look at it from a certain perspective, really everything is equal. But yeah, you don't need to heal or correct your emotions. Your emotions are exactly what they're meant to be, and all of your emotions are okay. But when we experience limerence or infatuation, it's because there's something for us to learn there, and a side of you is being highlighted and brought to the surface so that you can accept it and acknowledge it. It's normal to be drawn to certain people. It's normal to have feelings for certain people. Our emotions don't always make logical sense, and that's okay. That's the experience that we're meant to have. But I think if you're clinging on to a certain person, it's because you're attached to that version of you, that past version of you, and you're not ready to evolve past it yet. There's something there that you haven't fully processed and healed. And once you're able to do that, you're going to stop having feelings for that person, and you're going to step into this new version of you. and new people are going to come into your life. And really look at what do you perceive them as, because that's what's going to show you what you need to heal and what you need to integrate. And once you finally see the truth of everything, the truth of who you are, the truth of who they are, because it's similar, because the reality of who you are is someone who accepted that person, who accepted that treatment, who accepted that form of love. Even if you are different people, it's still going to show you things about yourself. And then once you decide, I don't want to be this version of me, I don't want to embody these traits anymore, and you evolve past that version of you, those feelings for that person are going to go away. So if they haven't yet, it's because there's something there that you haven't fully processed or healed yet, or looked at the reality of the situation yet. Lean into the infatuation, lean into the limerence, and learn the lesson from it. Who are they to you? Who do they represent to you? Really try to see the full picture, try to analyze, who is this person to me? What are the things I notice within them? And are these traits that I accept within myself? Are these traits that I even see within myself at all? Are these traits that I want to embody? Are these traits that I don't want to embody? Or is the obsession more coming from a place of wanting validation, wanting approval, wanting love? Because in that case, then you need to validate and love yourself, all the different parts of yourself, and acknowledge them. Sometimes certain people bring out a side of us that we really like, that we feel good, that we feel confident in, makes us feel good about ourselves. But I do think the goal is ultimately to accept all parts of you and love all parts of you, not just one specific side of you, and to over-identify with that. Because who you are in every situation with different people, it's all a part of you. And there are times where I'm very reserved, I'm very shy, I'm very awkward, and so I don't want to identify with that part of me as much as the people who I'm confident and outgoing around. But it's been very healing to accept and love that version of me as well, and just like to see it almost like a child who's learning, who's growing, who's flawed, and like it's beautiful to be human and to be awkward and to be shy. Like, I don't know, I don't view it as a bad thing anymore, and I'm able to accept that part of myself as well. I think the whole human experience is just us experiencing ourselves through other people, through the universe, through the world. It's all a reflection of you, and it's all for you to learn and grow and experience and have fun. And when we try to resist what we're experiencing, it becomes a difficult experience. It becomes painful. But when you lean into all these different feelings, instead of labeling them as bad and trying to push them away, it all just becomes like a fun, cool experience, at least in my experience. I even realized that everyone I work with, it represents a part of me, and for so long I didn't identify with all these different parts of me that I notice in other people. But all of them are thoughts that exist within my head and experiences that I have, and a part of my ego that I have not accepted. And that's not the version of me that I show up as in the world, but it is a part of me that exists. And I feel like at least my life is about learning to face and integrate all these parts of me and accept them. And for the past several months after my breakup, I was analyzing my ex, and I didn't really know why, but I just felt drawn to do that, and so I just kept doing it. But it actually helped me learn so much about myself, because sometimes it's hard to observe ourselves and to really see ourselves accurately, but it can be easier to see it in others and then realize that that's a reflection of you. So that's something that really helped me. And I was just analyzing him so much and like why he is the way he is, and then realizing that these are traits that I also embody and why I attracted a person like this. And then eventually when I got to a point where I realized this is not the version of me that I want to be, and I don't want to embody these traits anymore, that's when I finally moved on and finally stopped having strong feelings for him. It also took me a while to see the truth of who he was, instead of projecting a fantasy onto him or like projecting myself onto him. I feel like during my 5-year relationship, I never saw myself clearly or my ex clearly. I was always kind of lying to myself, or just only accepting a certain version of myself. And so when the relationship ended, I spent so many months processing all of that and seeing the reality of the situation and actually observing myself and facing reality. So it took me a while to process all of that in the version of me that I was for so many years. And now I can keep the traits that I like that he embodied and that I wasn't embodying, or the traits that we were both embodying, and I can leave the rest, and I don't want the rest. I want to be a different version of myself. And now that I've done that, I don't have feelings towards him anymore. So yeah, I hope this video was helpful to you. I think this would be considered shadow work. I don't know if anyone else has ever really talked about this. It kind of just came to me, but I kind of just started observing what these emotions meant to me and why I was feeling this desire to analyze people. And then I realized that it's not a bad thing to feel feelings for people and to have strong emotional pulls towards people, and you're actually meant to be experiencing that, and it's really helpful once you can learn the lessons from it and use it for your benefit. And it's also going to help you get over these feelings. Thanks so much for watching. Please leave a comment and I'll see you in my next video.